1974, you said that busing policies were well-meaning in theory, but sometimes result in, quote, racial hostility.
What else did I say in that?
Tell me.
No, you got it there. Read it. Read the whole quote.
I don't have the whole quote.
The whole quote is the federal government doesn't give a shit about African Americans.
Oh, that is true. That's why I didn't include it.
Okay. And my point was that I don't think anybody thinks that busing is the solution. What is the solution? What I meant by that quote is that we need to enforce fair housing legislation. I think everybody, whether you're black or you're white, you want your kids to go to a great community school, not to be bused an hour away. That is the goal that we should be striving for. And by the way, we've introduced education, what we call the Thurgood Marshall educational plan, which would significantly improve public education in America and deal with a very serious issue of the growing segregation of schools in American society, something that we have to address very boldly.
Was Senator Harris's critique of Vice President Biden fair?
I don't want to, Senator Harris will tell you what she wants, and I'm not here to talk about Joe Biden or Senator Harris within that context. All that I know is that we have massive amounts of racial disparity in this country today. And that means that in a country which has enormous income and wealth inequality, we're looking at a nation where the average white family owns 10 times more wealth than the average black family, where infant mortality rates in the black community 2.5 times higher than the white community. Unbelievable. If you're a black woman having a baby today, the likelihood is 3 times greater that you will die than if you're a white woman, where we still have redlining in terms of our financial system, housing segregation. So when I talk about creating an America that works for all people, it means doing away with the systemic racism that exists from coast to coast.
Do you feel like if you go into the Democratic National Convention with the lead in delegates, that this system is fair, or is it still aligned against you in the way you felt it may have been last time?
I don't say that it's aligned against me in a paranoid way. We are taking on the establishment. So we're taking on Wall Street. We're taking on the insurance companies. We're taking on the drug companies. We're taking on the fossil fuel industry. We're taking on the prison industrial complex because I want to do away with private prisons and detention centers in this country.
But is the DNC
we are taking
set up
on,
in a fair way?
Well, we are taking on the 1%. And it is no great secret that within the Democratic Party, there is a corporate wing of the Democratic Party. You'll recall, I think it was last month, that a group called the Third Way. You know what the Third Way is? Third Way is
They're moderates.
Well, that's one way to describe them. The other way to describe them is they are the Wall Street arm of the Democratic Party. Historically very powerful, right? That's the fact. They receive their money from financial institutions. They have traditionally played a very big role in the Democratic Party. Democratic Party for the last 40 years has been dependent on big money interests. All right? The leadership of the Third Way said that Bernie Sanders is an existential threat to the Democratic Party. Does that suggest that I may be taking on some opposition in the Democratic Party? I think maybe. All right. So what I am trying to do in this campaign is to do something that I must tell you I don't think has been done at least since Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and that is bring about a political revolution. I want to see the voter turnout substantially increase through working people who have given up on the political process because they don't believe anybody in Congress cares about the pain that they are experiencing. I want to bring young people into the political process. We're having some success in doing that. I want more.
So what's more important, the revolution or beating President Trump? How far do you take this? If you're not in the delegate lead, do you still go all the way to the convention?
Well, I don't want to speculate as to what will happen,
Well, if you're revolutionary, right, you carry on, you go all the way.
Look, you're talking two things, all right? Number one, to beat Trump, we need a candidate who is going to run a campaign of energy and excitement, where there's going to be the largest voter turnout in American history, where working class people who said, I'm not going to vote because they're all full of shit, I don't give a damn. We get those people involved because you're going to have a candidate who is prepared to take on the big money interest. By the way, in case you didn't get it, that's Bernie Sanders. Okay. And second of all, we say to the young people that instead of disparaging them, you are the future of this country. And I believe that the young generation today is the most progressive generation in the history of this country. They're beautiful people, but they are hurting. They're going to have a lower standard of living than their parents, which is why, again, I want to cancel student debt. I want to create jobs which pay these people a living wage. Bring those people in. And you know what? When you do those things, you are going to not only beat Trump, we'll beat Trump badly. Poll after poll has many of us, including me, beating Trump right now. We can beat him in Michigan, beat him in Wisconsin, beat him in Pennsylvania if we get working people and young people involved in the political process. And the only way you do that is when you talk to the issues that are life and death for those constituencies.